Hey friends, and welcome to a new video dedicated to the world of Poppy Playtime. Today we really have a lot to talk about, because this week might turn out to be one of the most important of the last few months for all of us fans of the saga. In fact, in the next few days we might get official announcements, new images, updates, and maybe even some hidden clues that will give us a taste of what we'll see in Chapter 5. And not only that, already today, in the next hours, we will get the first announcement of the week, so get ready, because we might discover something big at any moment. In this video, I'll give you all the information about everything we know so far, to the news we can expect in the upcoming days, and to the connections we can already start making with the latest content released by Mob Entertainment. So, if you're ready to dive with me into this part of upcoming announcements, stay tuned, because in just a moment we'll analyze everything in detail, step by step. But before we begin, I want to ask you something. Leave a big like on this video, because it really helps me bring more Poppy Playtime content to the channel. And subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell, so you won't miss any of the news coming out in the next few days. Trust me, this week is going to be very intense, and you definitely don't want to miss anything. That said, get ready, because now I'm going to tell you everything that awaits us. Let's start right away with the first news of the day, the one that concerns today specifically. Today, in fact, the new plushies of the Nightmare Critters will finally be officially announced. And we're talking about three very awaited characters: Maggie Mako, Alistair Gator, and Simon Smoke. If you've been following the channel for a while, you already know that in the previous videos, we analyzed together the preview images of these three characters. We looked at their models, the details. Basically, we already had a pretty clear idea of how they would appear in their plush version. They also announced the release date of these plushies. The release date is November 24, and today is exactly the 24th. So today there will be the release of the plush version. What makes this news even more interesting is that this is the first time ever that Mob Entertainment decides to release three plushies of three different characters on the same day. It had never happened before. This choice is anything but random. It's clear they're trying to speed up the release of the merch related to Chapter 4. And the reason most likely is just one. They want to quickly wrap up everything tied to the previous chapter so they can fully focus on Chapter 5. It's like we're witnessing a kind of silent transition, a phase where Mob is preparing to close one cycle in order to open a much bigger one. And the fact that they're releasing three plushies simultaneously suggests exactly this. They're making space, clearing out everything that remains from Chapter 4, so that in the coming weeks, they'll be free to start letting more and more content slip out regarding the final chapter of the saga. So basically, today's announcement is not just merch news, it's a signal, a very clear signal that something big might begin very soon. And now let's move on to the next update. Now let's move on to the second announcement of this week. In fact, on November 27th, there is the Thanksgiving Day. And as we all know, Mob Entertainment always releases a special Thanksgiving-themed image with hidden references to the next chapter of the series. This is honestly one of the most anticipated things of the entire week, because the Thanksgiving images are never random. Every single year they hide important hints about what's coming next. Let's quickly recap what happened in the previous years. In 2023, Mob released a Thanksgiving image dedicated to the Smiling Critters, the mascot family that would later be officially appeared in Chapter 3. Then in 2024, the tradition continued. The Thanksgiving artwork showed many characters from the Poppy Playtime universe celebrating together, but the interesting part was the hidden details. Because among all those characters, there were also some who would later appear in Chapter 4, like Yarnabi and the Nightmare Critters. And, one of the most surprising details, the image even included the very first preview of Doey the Dogman, who at that time had not yet been officially revealed. He was there, behind a window, like a small sneak peek hidden in plain sight. For this reason, there is a big probability that this week there will be a new image for the Thanksgiving. This is a tradition of Mob Entertainment. That's why this year's Thanksgiving image, the one coming out on November 27th, is incredibly important. If Mob Entertainment follows the pattern of previous years, then we can expect at least a couple of major hints about Chapter 5. They might show silhouettes, background characters, small objects, or even tiny details that will help us understand who or what we'll see in the final chapter of the saga. So this Thanksgiving artwork is not just a festive illustration, It's basically an official teaser disguised as a celebration image. And just like every year, it will be our goal to analyze it from top to bottom to discover everything Mob is trying to hint at. Now, let's move on to another very interesting category, which includes all the other possible announcements that might arrive this week. The first two we talked about, the plush announcement and the Thanksgiving image, are the only ones that are basically completely guaranteed. The first one, the plush release of the Nightmare Critters, was confirmed directly by Mob Entertainment and Culturefly, so there's absolutely no doubt. It's happening today. The second announcement, the Thanksgiving image, hasn't been officially confirmed through direct messages. But it's such a tradition that we can consider it certain. In these last years, Mob releases a special image dedicated to this holiday, and inside it, they always hide clues about the next chapter. So we can expect it again this year. But here's where things get even more interesting, because this week might also include other announcements that haven't been confirmed yet. And this is where we enter the territory of theories and possibilities. Since what I'm about to say hasn't been officially stated by anyone, but there are precedents that make us think about it. For example, along with the Thanksgiving image, we might also get the second teaser trailer for Chapter 5. Why do I say this? Because it would follow the exact same pattern we saw with the first teaser trailer. Mob released it just a few hours before the Halloween-themed image. So it wouldn't be strange at all to see them repeat the same strategy, dropping a teaser shortly before the Thanksgiving artwork. Of course, let me say this clearly. Right now, we don't have any official information. No hints, no confirmations, nothing concrete. This is only a theory, based on what Mob has done in the past. But if this really happens, then get ready. Because the second teaser trailer might introduce one of the new characters from Chapter 5. And, following their usual logic, this character might even appear in the Thanksgiving image as a hidden preview, just like Doey the Doeman did last year. So this week doesn't only include the announcements we're sure about, but it could potentially turn into a real turning point, with new teasers, new characters, and fresh hints about the final chapter of Poppy Playtime. And now, let's move on to the final part of this week's news. So let's keep our eyes wide open, because anything could happen in the next few days or weeks. Even though the release of Chapter 5 is not close yet, we know very well that Mob Entertainment always starts publishing the first previews well before their games are officially released. It's a strategy they've been using for years. They release little hints, images, teasers, hidden details, artworks, and gradually build up the hype until the moment of the real reveal. And in fact, that is exactly what is happening right now. We already have the first real previews of Chapter 5, even though the game is still far from release. This means one thing. They are starting to move. They are entering the phase where, very gradually, they start showing us the atmosphere, the characters, and the themes of the final chapter. And that's not all. It's very likely that in the next few weeks, there will be more previews, small images, hidden fragments, or even hints in the merch descriptions. And there's another really interesting possibility. Maybe, finally, in December, the ARG for the new chapter could begin. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.